Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. You see a brand new face here. This is Maine, and we are starting a new playlist, a new type of content. I'm not content, but like content for my channel. If you saw a video I put out recently just comparing myself and my YouTube channel to TJ Maxx, like you might come for one thing, but you're going to find a whole bunch of other random cool stuff that maybe you didn't even know you want, but now you're hooked on it and you got to have it. So typically, if you're brand new here, I talk about cult stuff, narcissistic stuff, whatever. But Maine and I have become friends on the internet, on the social platforms, and we wanted to start talking about what it's like being content creators. And actually, I don't know if I think we will go into it a little bit today. If you look, not even that deep, cults and content creation is not that separate actually. So I'm going to be quiet and hand it over to Maine so she can introduce herself.
Thank you so much. I just want to say once again for allowing me to be on your platform today, Miss Nikita. Like you said, we've been on TikTok for maybe almost a year now, mutuals, supporting one another. It's been a while. Supporting one another. And as she said, just coming from my experience of a content creator and her experience of, getting out of that type of cult environment, they almost go hand in hand to have that type of group flock mentality, selectiveness, favoritism, all of the above. So in my journey, and that's just across all, going all the way back to Facebook days and early YouTube, and you just saw the favoritism when it came to certain creators, certain types of content. I've been doing content for almost 10 years, believe it or not. I started off doing modeling, music, and now I'm here just making funny videos, trying to find my way down the Mary Brick Road. So
And if you're not following her, please look in the description and go follow her. She is hilarious. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, and we just became friends because I was just so tickled pink by her. And she has these videos where she puts on wig, like she's just so well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I truly, you guys know I'm very careful with who I come up here and share space with. And I just think the world of her. But okay, so for me, the content creation journey, I think it's just been since maybe 2019 or 2020 when I started getting more serious about it. Like, I'm a stereotypical millennial. I've been on social media since MySpace days. Maybe even before that, you remember the Zanga blogs. Maybe not that, but there were just so many different like bootleg blog sites back when we were in middle school and high school. So I had that, but that was like nothing really. And then MySpace and just so on and so forth. But really, when it transitioned from just pictures of me and my food and random stuff to like, okay, let's try to have a platform. I think it was like 2019, 2020. Talking about mental health, which evolved into narcissism and my mom, and then cult, and now branching out into so many other things. I think I dabbled in like preschool content for a while, way back in the day, but that was under a school's name, but I made that my baby. So let's see. The only place I am monetized is YouTube, which is insane to me because I got up to almost 20,000 followers on Instagram back in like 2021. And I still could not get monetized.
Instagram is it's very tricky for me. That's like my least active social media. And this is probably my third Instagram, and I'm assuming that might have part of it. I think Instagram kind of backlogs. Like even if you delete it or if it gets hacked, it kind of, maybe it's facial recognition or I don't know, whatever the case may be. And it kind of like backlogs, like, okay, you've been here before. So when people are like, oh, I'll just make a new page. I'm like, you got to be careful with that because it's very tricky. So it's funny you said that about hopping all around because I was there too. And I'm only monetized on TikTok. YouTube, I'm also still trying to figure out the formula for that.
So go follow her and watch her stuff. Run up the watch hours so she can become a
Please.
YouTube partner, please, 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 please. So you're monetized on TikTok. I'm not. Not on, not on Facebook, just on YouTube, and trying to lean in more and see what happens there. One thing that I do like about being monetized on YouTube, I don't know if this is how it is on other platforms, is when you go in the studio and the analytics, you can see how much money each video has made you.
Nice.
And so even from the shorts, and it's like, oh, 10 cents. Great.
Right.
Like if I can make 10 of those, that's $1. I'll take it. Like
exactly. It's more than we had before. So
it's a lot of incentive. And it's like, now I see why all those like 17-year-olds just sit there and stream all day.
That part.
Because it's just running up. But I mean, it's a certain privilege that you have to be able to take the time to do. Not everybody has the time. And I think enough people don't talk about that there is a certain privilege in even having the space to explore becoming a content creator.
That part. And I think that's something we've talked about continuously on TikTok. Just, you're a mother, you have your career. I'm taking care of my mother right now as a caretaker. I have a career as well. And then just to blot out those times in between to make content, it's not just creating content. It's creating the ideas, it's editing, it's mapping out those content, it's scheduling content, it's following trends, following waves, making sure, like we talked about earlier, politically correct. It's okay to be kind of out the box, but considering, we have to be a little bit more careful considering, the times that we live in. So like you said, it's a privilege. Like, sorry, that was a phone call coming in. Most of the people, like you said, that are successful and have done long-term in social media, they haven't had 9-to-5 jobs. They're usually younger, teenagers, early 20s, or maybe have jobs that aren't as demanding. Early 20s, like I said, I've been doing social media since MySpace, Facebook. I was doing Amazon. I was doing call centers, low, risk type jobs. But now I have actual deadlines, responsibilities. It's hard to kind of get away and just, I'm just going to make a video, or I'm just going to sit down and edit real quick. And I've noticed I've had to really balance that out in the last couple of months because my job is just like, yeah, you're slipping. You're slacking right now, sis. And it's like, okay, I want to excel at social media, but at the same time, I have to keep my bread and butter.
And that is so hard. And I think a lot of times the conversation that doesn't get had publicly, like a lot of us who do this, we are having the conversations, but you don't see a ton of content about it or put out there. Or if somebody does put content out there about it, it doesn't get a lot of traction.
I notice it's gone either one way. When people have posted about it, it's either you're complaining because we're in a hustle culture. And I think that's another thing that people fail to realize. Hustling and productivity are two different things. We see a lot of people hustling. We see a lot of people hustling, but they're not being actually productive. And that's something I had to learn in my early years. Like you said, I just got serious about it probably around COVID, like most people did. I didn't have anything else to really do. So I'm like, okay, let's lean into this a little more. But, I was dropping music here and there. I was doing modeling here and there, but I wasn't necessarily being productive. So it's like, okay, you can hustle, but it's all about finding that target audience, your niche. It's very specific. You have to be very specific. You just can't throw out content and, going viral these days doesn't mean as much as it did 10 years ago.
Not at all. You want to talk about something that makes you want to fight the air, is to invest some time into some videos and they don't lead anywhere, or they lead somewhere for that, but then that's all people want from you. And then you get no engagement on anything else. You want to talk about crashing out?
all the way.
All that work and what did it get me?
Nothing. Absolutely nada. Like some weirdos and some bot accounts. Like that's another thing too. Those viral videos, specifically on TikTok, you have to be very careful as well. Like you said, the audience and the people that come in during those waves of virality, because you have a lot of bots. You have a lot of hecklers as well. People that just genuinely, I don't know if they're just miserable. Their job is just to come on your posts and just cause discourse. But it's just like you really have to separate from your supporters, from the bots, from the hecklers, also from, I would even say, the tag teams or the bandwagoners. You know, people start to see your numbers, or you got one viral video and they think like, okay, then let's hop on her train real quick and see how far she can get. Let's, I've had people, oh, let's do this. Like you said, I love how protective you are over your page, and because that's your baby, that's your identity, that's how you'll be seen in a public eye, and people think that you're being funny or that you're being gatekeepish because you don't want to work with them or collaborate them, and it's not necessarily you want to do it at not now or ever. It's just not the time. You're trying to figure it out, but people will try to join your wave, and you have to be very selective with that because everyone's ideas and contents don't match yours, and nowadays you can be guilty through association.
And when you create community, which is, if you're going to be in this for the long haul and you have people who ride with you, it is a community. If you have a conscience at all, you feel kind of protective over your community because you make a lot of funny content, Maine, but then you also have like some real talk segments that you do talking about your vulnerability. You might mention your mom, your job struggles, just your energy and your mental space, and you're connecting with people like that. And when you allow someone on your platform, and this is like, obviously we're not responsible for people, but we do have to take some sort of ownership. It's just human nature to think, well, if Maine thinks they're cool, well, if Nikita thinks they're cool, well, let me go follow them. And then if you don't know that, I don't know, they're burning crosses somewhere, now you're looking crazy. The internet is too crazy and too volatile. And sometimes it's not even you don't like this person. It's just, I just don't know you well enough yet. And that's okay.
And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, like you said, people have a tendency to, it's easy to hide your cards, but it's also easy to find. With a little bit of research, a little bit of monkey grease, you can figure out, people and their agendas, but it takes the time. And sometimes you just don't have the effort to do that. And I notice a lot of brands as well, with the TikTok shop, and they'll offer samples, and I have to be kind of selective, like, well, I don't really use this stuff. Why would I push this product out to people that support me and, give this false persona? Oh, this is the best product ever, and I use it every day, and da 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 da. I feel like, like that, it breaks a code, like you said, we're trying to build and cultivate real connections and real communities. And in order to do that, I have to maintain trust and some level of consideration and integrity with that.
Because everybody, myself included, you're always leery for what's the catch? What are you trying to sell me? What's the angle? Everybody's trying to be a guru. Everybody's trying to sell a package. Everything is a TikTok shop ad. Everything is, okay, so you're having a free webinar. What are you going to ask me to buy at the end of it? You can't want to talk to me just to talk to me. And so you do, it seems like we're on the same page. You have to think through, if I'm going to make an ask, is this an ask I feel really good about standing behind?
That part. Is it long-term something I won't go back and look like, maybe I shouldn't have did that?
Because you don't want to turn people off, or like you said, you don't want to ruin that trust. But if you are going to try to capitalize on this, because let's be for real, this is a capitalistic society. We got to eat. And if we are spending enough time on this and effort and energy, and we're seeing other people like the Lord, I see what you've done for others. Like you're seeing other people like, I get to work on an island now because I did this with my social media, or I did that. It's like, well, I'm funnier than they are. I'm more talented than they are. I'm more clever than they, and no shade, like get your bag. I'm not saying you don't deserve your bag, but I want to secure that too. I want that.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that you tried in your whole time to try to make some money with your platform?
Well, I guess I technically still have it. Made in Melanin. It's a t-shirt hoodie brand I created back in I want to say 2021. And that was just me, I did through Etsy, which is technically drop ship, but I make the hoodies and shirts, in-house. And that was trying to cut the middleman out as much as possible, because those overhead fees, people really don't understand what drop shipping and, things like that. Those fees will eat it up, and the profit is just not there. But yeah, I've attempted to do that. I've done, of course, music, modeling, and when I was doing modeling, just trying to get different gigs for different catalog prints. I was doing extra work as well, so advertising myself online, just for different background extra roles, things of that nature. I think that's probably the bulk of, as up to now, prior to content creating, the things I've tried to dip and dabble in. What about you?
Oh wait, but you do TikTok shop. I haven't seen you post a TikTok shop ad in a while, but you were kind of heavy on TikTok shop for a while. You had like the vacuum, the robe.
I did do that. And that TikTok shop is like what, 6 months. I just got into TikTok shop like January, maybe November. But now I don't know if anybody else is noticing, they've kind of died down. So for instance, like I'll, they'll offer the samples and stuff, and I'll put in for it or request it or whatever, and it'll just kind of sit and hang out for that 7 days, and then it goes away. Yeah. So like when I have a collagen powder one night, like I do like the collagen powder, but between that, maybe a month ago, that was probably last.
So what do they want? They want you to actually buy it and then talk about it?
I don't know if they want me to buy it, or I don't know if we're I feel like we're at a plateau. I'll put it like that. Most of the people that are on my timeline, or most of the friends on my timeline on TikTok, they're also selling stuff. I know. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we're all selling the same stuff.
Did you ever watch the LuLaRoe documentary? LuLaRich?
I didn't. I need
to okay. Do you remember those leggings though?
I do. They're like $100 now or something.
Oh my God. So it's on, I think on Amazon Prime. LuLaRich is it. Roberta Blevins was a main feature there. Is really, really cool. I like Roberta. She actually had me and Asha on her podcast, which was fun. Nice. But they talked, it's an MLM selling leggings and other clothes. But that's one of the things they talked about in the documentary, how they were trying to get all these women in the MLM, because when you have people in your downline, you could, but what happened was now everybody's selling the leggings. There's no one to buy the leggings.
Thank you.
So that seems, I guess that's what you're saying, which makes sense, because I feel like I can't go 3 videos in a row without seeing a TikTok shop ad. I don't want to see it.
Seriously.
Like, it was cute in the beginning, like, oh, this is, but now I'm just like, if I see one more methylation drop, if I see one more matching pajama short set,
shadow
the same
one. They were pushing those shadow work books, honey.
They were. Leave me. I don't want the shadow workbook. I don't want it.
I don't want it. I can journal for free. Like, literally.
And everybody was like, you need this. If you don't have, get off my page.
Please.
I saw one actually either yesterday or today, and I was like, oh, it's been a while. Swipe.
They're still trying to dangle that carrot. Like, They were so heavy on those. I'm like, please. Now I don't know if you noticed, it's the vibration plates. I've seen that.
Oh, that you stand on?
Yeah.
I saw those. Yeah.
That's the thing that they've been pushing that heavy. I guess it's, the new wave is fit now. Thick is out the window. So now everybody's trying to get fit and tight.
I can't. I survived the early and mid 2000s. I'm tired. I just need to, I'm gonna do what I can do, but I'm just gonna let my body be, because I am tired of trying to do all this.
We've
I'm
had
gonna
enough.
do what I can to be healthy, but y'all ain't gonna keep selling me a scheme.
I've had enough.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Can we just exist?
Without telling me what to look like.
Please.
I'm just trying not to have a chronic illness because of all this stress.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to find a path, and let's just one step at a time.
Yes. Okay. So me though, the different things that I have tried, girl, it's okay.
Name it out, girl.
I don't want to talk about it.
Talk, girl.
Okay, what have I tried? I thought about making a course. I really did. I even had it in my mind. Yes, I know we laugh at course people. They almost got me. They almost sold me the dream
But
that
listen,
I could be a course girly.
All courses aren't created equal though. And depending on that course though, because there is a lot of information that people would like to, instead of having to do the research, and it's just,
I mean, it's true. But I think it's now, I don't even know if it's the right time, kind of the whole like read the room.
Got it.
I think if you were to come out, like even if you were to come out with a social media multi-hyphenate course, like you would make a banging course. But I just think people roll their eyes when they hear buy my course now.
Yeah. Understand. It's got a stigma to it now. So
so I thought about making a course. I tried to offer these like coaching or like validation like sessions or whatever when my platform was all about narcissistic parents. And not to sound any sort of way, but I was thinking recently, like, I think I was actually one of the pioneers on social media talking about narcissistic parents. Like, it was scary when I started doing it because no one was really talking. I kid you not, on Instagram, thousands of DMs of people saying, I've never heard anyone talk like this about their mom before. Everyone makes me out to be evil because I feel this. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Like all that. Like,
wow.
Now it's a buzzword everywhere. But I was like, oh, am I? But so with that being said, and people saying like, I don't have anyone to talk to, I don't this, I don't that. I'm like, well, shoot. If people are paying people to hug them and cuddle with them, will somebody pay me to like listen to them and not judge them?
Okay.
And so I sold like maybe 2 or 3 of those sessions. They were cheap. They were like $15. But I don't have a degree, and it was just to listen. So I tried that. That didn't take off. What else? I've tried different consulting things, like whether it's entrepreneurship, like business branding, because of my experience with building a school. Like a lot of people don't know, but I helped found a school back in 2012, and we started with 2 kids. And when I left the school last year, we had over 100 kids.
Amazing.
Owned a building. I helped them get nationally accredited. Like I oversaw the social media for different points, but I was just wearing too many hats, so I couldn't. But it was doing well. So I just, between that and my personal platform, I just know a lot about business branding and stuff like that. So I tried that. I think I've tried to do like education consulting stuff.
Excuse me.
And I even unironically have the coaching expert guru hat.
Period.
I thought it was so cute.
Period.
But it's like I bought it, and then maybe like 3 or 4 months later, I realized like kind of how cringy all those ladies are. It's like when the collective awakening started happening around that industry, and now it's like, man, we got to do some skits. I think I only got 1 photo shoot out of this hat. I never wear it. I think I wore it in public once or twice. I need to use it.
Girl, we can make something happen, honey. Trust me. We need some help. We do need some help guru type skits. We can definitely make that happen.
And what was I gonna say? I signed up for TikTok Shop so excited because I thought I would get to be in like an affiliate like you, even though I hear, from you that has run its course. But I don't apparently reach those qualifications. And what I signed up, and I didn't know there was a difference. So listen up, you guys, if you're looking into it, I didn't know there was a difference. What I actually signed up for was like, if I was making hoodies like Maine.
Right.
Then I could use TikTok Shop to sell my product. I'm not qualified to be one of the people who's like, buy this phone case. Click my link or whatever. I can't be one of those people. So I signed up and I did all that. I need to unsubscribe because they email me like every day. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't have anything. I don't want to sell anything on here. And I don't want to ask any influencers to sell for, like, go away.
Please.
So now I'm monetized on YouTube and I am just trying to see what it's like while I'm in this transition season of life.
Mm-hmm. And
I have a little more time and flexibility. Like, what would happen if I showed up to YouTube like I show up for a job? Like, instead of feeling insecure and sad and stressed, which I feel those things, about not having the position like a steady position I would want right now. It's kind of changing my mind. Like, what if this is God saying, like, you've got some money, you have a little cushion, you do have this other thing on the side that's helping and supplementing for now. Like, girl, focus.
Right. Focus. Get it in.
What would happen if, and what's crazy is I privated my TikTok and my Instagram because I was in an interview process for another position. And I was like, oh, I don't need them to see all the crazy. Right. And so I actually privated some of the videos on YouTube, but I didn't want to take down my whole YouTube.
Right.
And because of that, I was able to focus in on YouTube and was like, ta-da, what if I really showed up for you? Could I do this? So I'm giving it a shot. So that's what we're doing.
But it looks like you are doing it, because monetization on YouTube, I keep telling people, anytime you reach that plateau, it is a major accomplishment, because that is literally the goal for 99% of the people that get on these platforms, is to be monetized. And the fact that the monetization has come from your real life experience, something that you can tangibly have, a background, and, people can really pick and pry from your experiences and what you've been through. So it's not something that you necessarily have to study up on or be an expert at. It's just you being authentically you. And I think that's amazing to be able to get paid for that.
Thank you. It is amazing. It would be even more amazing to get paid enough to pay my bills for that. So,
but we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're
baby
getting
steps. And the thing with YouTube, though, it's so sporadic, though. One day you're at 1,000 views, and then the next month you could literally be at 1 million. It really takes that one video. And I notice once people latch onto you and you've got your community, girl, the sky is really the limit.
That is true. So y'all, if you're watching, please tell everybody to follow me and Maine. Just,
please follow us.
Please.
Black Girl Magic over here.
Be a real ally.
Be a girl's girl. Be a man.
Be a girl's girl.
Please.
Okay, let's see. So, what are we moving on to next?
You want to talk about the algorithm?
Let's talk about it.
We want to talk about per platform or just in general?
I think just in general.
Okay. I feel there's an agenda with these platforms. I notice when I talk about specific things, for instance, political wise, if I wouldn't say bashing, but if I'm saying not as favorable things about a certain presidential candidate, I notice my videos go dark, as in like no views, like almost to the point where, so for instance, I made one about a candidate,
the man or the woman?
The
The man or the woman?
The man. Of course, okay. The man. It's always the man. And for 2 hours, it's at like 50 something views. So usually I kind of get the drift after an hour. If it doesn't go over 100, TikTok is like, that's my cue. Like, we're not doing nothing with it. So I know most of the time I just delete it. And what it does, it makes it seem like it's a community violation when I delete it.
Why would they do that?
Okay. I deleted it, not them. I deleted it, and right for a millisecond, before you refresh it, it goes off your page, it'll have that gray out like a community violation. I'm just like, and the problem with that is it triggers the algorithm. So the next video that I post, it won't do as well either. So I have to get it. You get what I'm saying?
Dang. That's insane.
It's a lot of tricks that they use. You have to be very, very careful. As far as even. Thank you. You have to be very specific and very careful about who, and even certain celebrities, anybody of any type of has a strong PR team. I've noticed as well. They can get you. Now it hasn't gone that far for me, but I've seen people getting banned. I've seen people been permanently shadow banned, as in their videos don't go above 400 or 500 views, no matter what they do, no matter what trend they follow. And I noticed for me, all my videos, and it's very irritating, the ones that have done well, it's either a degradation to Black people. It's either something very foul and degrading, not for me, but the topic that I'm talking about. So Dubai, for instance, right. Dubai is my most viewed video.
I was going to mention that earlier when you said something about how you have to be careful of the followers that you get on certain virality. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what I thought of. Like, and you even said in one of your TikToks, you were like, I didn't really want to get TikTok famous for this, but here we are. And so it's like that blew up. So you see, that's what the people want, but it's like, but that's not, it's my space. So yeah, I want to spout off if I have a random thought or something, but this is not what my channel is for.
That's not what I want to be known for. That is not what I want to be known
like
for.
Even today, I posted one, a funny one, about just, kind of finding your fire and trying out some new/old dance moves after you decide you don't want to be in your relationship anymore. Like, look, I'm going back outside. Let's figure it out,
Let's go.
It's the most organic views I have ever gotten. And like, my whole thing is kind of like empowerment and validation and things like that. So I will talk about my relationship and my divorce occasionally, but I don't want everybody, because there are some pages, and no shade to them, there are some pages that are just about like divorce validation and my ex and my new life, and but that's not my whole thing. And so while I'm happy to be getting the attention, it does just kind of make me feel like I hope they really look at the rest of my content before they click follow, because it is such a it's like an unfair roller coaster to get the dopamine of all these views and all these follows, only for like the next 3 months to watch it all because nobody cares what else you have to say.
I feel like the algorithm pushes you into a niche. Because like you said, for me, my original niche was supposed to be music. And I've noticed that anytime you're doing anything promoting you or a possibility to make a profit, social media is going to shut it down immediately. That's why they came out with their own versions of their own shops. Instagram has their own shop. TikTok has their shop. I'm pretty sure
you have to pay them for it to be an ad.
And that's another thing. Ads are such a double-edged sword, because it is, like you said, it's not authentic. You don't know where they're grabbing these people from. Half of them are really bots. The other half, like you said, they may be interested in that one post, and now that may not be your niche. Or like you said, you were just trying to get some type of traffic to your page. And I feel like the whole algorithm, or the purpose of the algorithm, is to push their own agendas. So if I do more I don't know, more ghetto content, more ratchet content, or if I talk about more salacious and degrading, types of content, then yeah, I'll get followers and virality and stuff, but it'll probably be a bunch of pervs and a bunch of MAGA hat wearers, and those aren't the longevity people that are going to be a community and support you, and that's why I feel there's a faulty line between gaining true. And then another thing is, when the algorithm pushes it, I notice a lot of my day ones, it's days after before they see my content.
And sometimes you have to go find the content. Like sometimes I see a video of yours and I'm like, I haven't seen Maine in a while. Let me go. And then I see there's like 5 videos I haven't seen.
You really have to go. I have to go search
feel
for
like
y'all.
low-key a little salty. Not after you know the game, but initially you're like, dang, where are my people at? But then you just have to realize like they probably didn't. Why do I have, for me, I have over 2,000 followers. You have over 20. And it's like, why are my views only at 400? Why, like my people can't even see it?
And it goes back to that invisible guard. And for me right now, my views have been in the trash. And I'm just like, well,
I've noticed that. And I don't understand why.
I think because it goes back, I'm not doing what they want. I'm not in the niche they want me to be in. So remember, the dance videos were doing real good a couple months ago. And I like doing dance, but they take time to learn. And I think that's another thing people forget. Like,
and energy. Because you be working, sweating. Not like that, but like you just came out the studio with Laurieann Gibson kind of working. Like Maine is in there, boot okay.
I was trying, friend.
You were doing.
And like you said, it was one of those I didn't expect it. I'm like, I knew some of these little dances back from middle school. I brushed up on them. Cool, why not? And then it started getting a little more serious and people are making requests. I'm like, well, I literally have a list right now of all the requests that people have made. But in my mind, I'm like, I really have to sit down and learn some of these, because I don't, you like you said, maybe a little 8 count, a little 4 count here, but to do a long enough 30 to 60 second routine, you got to learn a little bit more.
And then people, after you do them, people are asking for the tutorials. So you have to learn it well enough to teach it. And that's like double the content.
Right. And then the people want you to do it again. Oh, I was reading the book, do it again. So I'm just like, which is fine, which is cool. And like you said, if I had the opportunity or the time, to sit down and learn these 8 counts and bust them out like that, I would. So which why I transferred to me sitting in my car, just kind of,
sorry,
what's going on?
ADHD thought.
Okay.
But just the thought that like you have to do all that. And again, this is not to say that anybody doesn't deserve it. It's just to say, why is it so hard for us? How many young ladies do we have to see go viral for just going? Literally, that's it. That's the post with the song in the background, and then everyone, 2.3 million people. She's so pretty. Dang. Hashtag goals.
Like, go back to that though. Pretty. That's the aesthetic. That is the borderline. Because I also noticed too, my earlier days of TikToking, that
because we pretty. Because we are pretty.
But not they're pretty. And that's
and also in a very weird way, like creepy young. Like you don't know if they're 19 or 16.
That is very true.
A lot of them who get famous for doing like dances at 25% energy, or literally there was some girl, I can't even remember the song, but everybody was in uproar because she went viral just for smiling and she was cute. I'm not saying she's cute. Get your back, sis. But like you got Maine over here breaking her back to learn Missy Elliott and Janet Jackson.
But it goes back to certain skin tones, I think, are required the bare minimum, while others, such as us, are required to be top notch. And I even going back to what it was, those shows, the minstrel shows, is that what they used to call them?
Yeah. And the shucking and jiving.
So their thing is, we already know y'all talented. Y'all come in different shapes and colors. Y'all got athletes, singers, acrobatics, gymnasts. We already know that y'all are talented. Y'all are a dime a dozen. That's what they think. But when one of them comes along and they're subtly or slightly above average, they're the talk of the town.
So I always say the algorithm is a bully. It's a love bombing bully. And I've seen a couple of videos about this, how when you're new to a platform and you put out a few, they're going to give you a little taste of the views. They're going to give you a little taste of reposts and things like that. So that way you get hooked.
Addicted,
it's nice. Yeah. And you feel like it's possible. You feel like maybe I could be one of them. But then it's like you're always chasing that next high. And then, so I think a big reason why my Instagram went down is because I was caught up in the rat race of trying to give the people what they wanted and be consistent and all these things. And people will say now that consistency is not the same as frequency. And that's actually a little bit gaslighty. Like that might be the case now, but don't act like just back in 2020, if you're posting every day or every other day, they weren't punishing you. So I went dark on Instagram for a few months. Basically, I might post here or there, but I couldn't anymore. The weight of COVID, the weight of all the Black Lives Matter stuff, the weight of I was realizing at that time that I was in a cult, being a new mom. Like I was just like, I cannot show up online anymore and play these games. And when I came back 6 months later, I was hardly getting any views. Still had like 17,000 followers, but was hardly getting any views at that time.
It's like they really punish you for taking mental breaks. Like they expect
you've got to be prepared and have a backbone, because the algorithm will play in your face and you can't take it personal and think that there's something wrong with your content. Like, sure, you can learn, you can study, you can get better you can get a better hook, you can this, you can that. But when you compare your content to some other people's content, even apples for apples, it's like, why not me? And it's just that it's a game, and it honestly really gets under my skin. So I'm on Threads, and one thing that a bunch of people will say, hey, Kelly, am I late? No, she just said it. Hey, Kelly. One thing people will say on Threads when people ask questions about content creation is like, you can't blame the algorithm for everything. And they'll go and kind of like pick the person's page apart. Try doing this, try doing that. And it's like, that's real tone deaf. Like, yes, we can get better at our craft, but let's not act like that's not a factor.
Because somebody can literally do the same voiceover in the same t-shirt in the same background and get 1 million views, and you could turn around and do that same time for time, bite for bite, and it'll be like crickets. And like you said, the algorithm taketh and it gives and you have to be okay and not, like you said, beat yourself up about it, because that was my thing. Like you said at the beginning, you get a little taste of it. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. And then it was a time where it was months. I mean, I could not get over 400 or 500 views. I'm just like, well, I'm putting on the wigs. I'm following the trends. I'm doing everything. Like, I'm engaging. I'm reacting. I'm showing love on other pages. I'm consistent. I mean, at one point I was literally posting up to almost 5-6 times a day. Like, and for TikTok standards, that's actually normal, because that's TikTok's goal. Their goal is to be as frequent as possible compared to other ones. Like you said, Instagram and YouTube, they almost like they punish you for being too consistent. Because I guess for the way their algorithm is, like for me with YouTube, I notice things are days behind. So if I post something today, I really won't see any emotions till about maybe in 2 days. It's weird.
It's hard. It's hard. And you really have to know yourself and know what you want out of the experience. Because if you get caught up, which is what happened to me, like you kind of you'll go crazy. You'll go crazy if you're constantly thinking, well, what was wrong with this video? Am I not doing this? Am I not social enough with other people? Is it the hook? Is it to transition? Do I need to cut off the last 0.7 seconds so people will stay to, like, there's all these little things that you can do them and you can do your best, but you really have to detach.
There's
or
no
you
guarantees.
can lose yourself.
That's the thing also, comparing a job to social media. You do your work at a job, there is a 90% chance that you're going to get paid. You're going to get compensated. It may not be compensated what you want or what you think, but you'll be compensated of some shape or form. Social media is literally a toss in the water. And you may get blessed one month and you may be down in the trenches another. And let's talk about, for me, the overcompensation of skills. Like we talked about having to be and wear multiple hats. You know, I had to up my editing game. I had to up my lighting game. I had to up my phone. You know, I had a 8 plus when I first got on TikTok. Now I have a 13, and I technically need to upgrade again, but we'll get to that bridge when we cross it.
I've heard that and I didn't look into it because if you go down every rabbit hole, you'll never come out. But right. I heard some creators talking about the poor tax. Like on social media, that if your video quality is not good or your lighting's not good, that they punish you.
For real. And I've noticed that too. That is so true. The videos where it's like I barely use front facing camera anymore. That's like my ultimate no, because I noticed the crisp and the clarity between the front facing and the back is night and day.
Well, then how do you know where you are in the frame though?
I have to lean on God and hope.
Because I've been wanting to do that. I heard that, but my anxiety is too bad. And I will lose my mind if I record a whole video and half my body is out of the camera.
So what I do is I might do a couple test runs, like, you know, set for about 5 seconds and just stand. And even sometimes like, okay, I'll stand, I'll do it for 4 minutes. And then when I come back and look at the frame, and just depending where I'm at, say I'm in the room here right now, I see the frame is here, and I'll mentally put like, okay, you can't go past here. You can't go past here.
She's a genius. She's a genius.
But it's like so many ways you have to navigate to get that perfect shot, to get that perfect clip. And you do all this, and it's like 1,000 views. But I can literally sit in my car and talk crap junk about nothing, and I get 25,000 views just
that
because.
Random Dubai video. It was just as someone who was like low-key getting to know you personally and then also had been following your content for a while, it really just felt like a random rant. And it's like, you know, when you walk into your friend's house and there's a party, and I was like, oh, there's a whole bunch of people in the comments. Oh, she got a zillion. Oh, what's everybody doing here? Like, let me listen. What's Maine talk about? I was like, are you kidding? All right, so I really felt your pain when you said, I did not expect to go viral for this, but here we are.
Here we are, like, doo-doo Dubai.
Like, what are you strangers doing here? Do you even know her? You don't even go here.
Stop playing. It's just, like, all the hats that we've had to learn and then the thing is, it's constantly moving. It's constantly changing. So you think you have one skill down, it's like, let's revamp, let's regroup.
And then they keep changing how the apps look. I went to edit my TikTok video today or yesterday, and I saw it. What does the edit button look like? Why does it look different? Where did it go?
Out of nowhere. I'm like, so, okay. The little screen where you can go in and edit it, it's the little icon.
It's different now. Or then even like all the things like because to make a video, okay, and let me say this. If you want to start content creating, do it. You don't need to know anything except how to hit record and post. Your people will find you. If you go back and look at our first videos, it's a journey. Look at my first YouTube. It's an uploaded, recorded Zoom call. Okay. Like the audio cuts out for the first 10 minutes in and out. Like because the file was too big. And my first Instagram video, it's atrocious. So if you just want to start.
This is not a dampering on any type of we're just want to give the real and the raw, because a lot of us, for me, I came in with expectations, and I think those expectations were a little too unrealistic for what I was dealing with. And we're standing here today letting you know it can be done. We wouldn't be up here saying it can't be done if we were both monetized on one platform. We're both growing our individual communities and collaborating together. It can be done, but it's going to take work, and it's going to take a lot of navigation.
And it's like you get in and you start looking around and it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, and so you go to record and you're like, wait, it's dark. Or you go to record and you're like, oh, well, how do I get a sound on? I want a sound on my video. That's a skill. Nobody tells you to do that or how to do that. Now you have to press all the buttons and figure out. Then you have to figure out, well, how do I get to the specific portion of the song? Wait, the song is louder than my words. How do I adjust the volume? That, like, nobody tells you that. Or even thumbnails, like the pictures for your video.
Right.
So guys, a little commotion for the thumbnails, please. Because I'm not a graphic designer. You have to low-key become a graphic designer. You don't have to. But when you get in and you learn the different ways,
it's just something of the trade.
That you can be competitive, or you can try to give yourself an edge to look more legit in certain ways. And you have to decide what's worth your time and energy and what's not. One thing I will never do is curate my grid. I think it is so cute when all the colors are the same, or they color block, or it's an aesthetic.
It's so beautiful.
It's so cute. I will never do it.
That is a different beast and a different level of organization that I choose not to delve in. But yes, it is so beautiful, so strategic.
But I can't. You got to learn about copyright laws and policies, good lighting, if the light's in front of you or behind you. I have a ring light, but now I want box lights because I think it's softer. Like even this light on my face right now, I feel like it's a little harsh.
I have the box light, but even still, depending on the software, depending on the platform, I noticed like this. I like this. TikTok though, I don't know if it's the way their camera set up. It's harsher, if that makes sense.
I've only gone live a couple times, but if you're tired at all, you'll be able to stand.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. It's
raw.
Yeah.
Almost maybe more so. I'm like, I think these shadows look that intense in real life. Why do I look like this?
That part. I'm like, all right, well, what are you trying to say, TikTok? But I get on Instagram, it's completely different,
Yes. Let's see. Oh, transitions. I can only do very, very basic transitions. Some people's are transition master. Again, if I'm able to make a living off of this, maybe I'll spend some time playing around with that. But there's just all this stuff that you don't realize until you get inside and you're like, oh, so this is how they make their videos look like that. And you don't have to start there. I didn't start there. But once you start wanting to make something out of it and you learn these little tips and tricks, it's like, okay. So then even one thing, and I don't know if this is for the other platforms, but I learned this from some little girl, like a teenager who's going viral because she can make really viral shorts on YouTube. And one thing that she said is, if there's any dead space at the end of your YouTube short, cut it off. Because if people swipe away beforehand, like YouTube calculates what percentage of video people watched before swiping. Right. So any amount of milliseconds or seconds will increase the percentage that they watched. And I've noticed that since I do that, I cut it off. Sometimes I'll even cut it like mid the last word. But it kind of tricks the algorithm that people are watching this video for longer, and it gives you a better chance. So
Thank you. I did not know that. I did
I've
not
seen a
know that.
difference.
Well,
And that only takes like that's quick and easy to do,
right.
but it's all those little things still. It's a skill set that you have to build up.
That part. Oh, look my cheeks here. Why are you falling? It just melted down.
Let's see. We already talked about audiences and if they don't like your pivot and things like that. I just want to say it could just be hard, disappointing.
Yeah.
When you feel like you built, and it's fine. You can't take it personal, because I know I unfollow people sometimes. Like, oh, that season of life where I was interested in that, I'm just not interested anymore. Now they talk about this all the time, and I'm not really interested. Like, you can't take it personal, but it just is still hard when people kind of jump ship.
It is, especially people that have been consistently with you. Because like when I was doing the car talks or whatever, I noticed I lost some day ones because they were used to me being, just doing goofy videos and dancing and things like that. And, real talk they may not come on TikTok for that, and they don't want to see you talking about serious topics, every, time they get on your FYP. So like you said, it hurt. It's an ego sting. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, if this is where I'm going right now, everyone can't come. And maybe I had to branch out in order to reach, a different demographic.
I had a thought and I lost it. Thanks.
Okay,
ADHD.
Bring it back.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Like, just you like to think, which is not always realistic, which is why we have to remind ourselves of these things, right? But you like to think that you've built this community that people ride for you in a little more of a sincere way. Like, as a person, like when you have a friend or you have a family member, you don't like everything they like.
Mm-mm.
You're not interested in everything they're interested in, but you still rock with them.
Because they family. Right.
And I just kind of feel like that's how I feel about you. Like, I can't relate to everything. I don't know everything. Right. I stuck around for the Dubai conversations a little bit, but I was like, ugh, gross. But I would still like it.
Yeah.
And, maybe repo or whatever, and then come back for the stuff I do like. Like, I know Maine is still Maine.
Right.
And I'm here for Maine. And that is when you do cultivate community and you find people who rock with you, you'll have those kinds of people. It's not everybody, but you will find those kinds of people who believe in you as the person.
Right.
So,
right.
But it is, like you said, it can be an ego state. It can hurt your feelings too. And I think enough people don't talk about that realistically, because everybody wants to be like, well, that's what you got on the internet for, or that, whatever. But like, we're real people.
It's psychology. And for me, and I'll be very vulnerable with this, considering I think a lot of people don't have a lot of personal ties and connections, especially in this day and age. We're in a fast-paced, individual hustle type culture. So a lot of what people are seeking in the flesh, they're not able to get it. So when you come online and you have your own community, it's like a surrogate family almost. You got your aunties, your cousins, your sis, your friends, y'all you post and we talk and we make our little comments and we have our little, our little inside jokes and things of that nature. So you do get attached. And when you see certain people leaving, or like, I haven't seen this person in a while, I've DM people I ain't seen in a month, like, hey sis, are you okay? Like, you haven't posted in a month. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm genuinely concerned because, you just never know these days. So I feel like we're in a technology driven society, and people get their emotional connections through the internet instead of in 3D.
That can be so real. Like, I know I was so touched, and I think I said this, maybe, I can't remember, but when I've fallen off on Instagram sometime recently, and then I came back and you commented There she is. Oh my God, I'm gonna get teary-eyed.
No.
But
Because I was like, where is she at?
especially because I was like going for a minute. But for you, I just felt so seen because especially on the internet, it's like people can just view you as content or as entertainment. And so to know that like someone noticed I wasn't here, and then someone noticed I was back, and someone put two and two together and wondered about me, like that's really, really touching. So I'll thank you again.
No. I just like the fact that there is a comfortability in just being able to know people that are doing or striving for the same things that you are. And being as Black women, we don't have people looking out for us. We don't have people checking in on us or considering us. So I try to make it my duty, especially in our circle, because I think there's this very small Black woman content creator circle. And I'm not talking about the twerkers or the eyelash techs and the hairstylists. I'm talking about people that are making content, like real content, edible topics, whatever, the entertainment. So I don't know, like I feel there's a camaraderie amongst us, and I just want to be able to know that we can depend on each other just despite what the algorithm throws our way.
Yeah, and allow space for humanity. So Maine and I have been trying to collab for months, whether it was going to be a series of short form content or lives or this or that, like just trying to figure like what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And there was one time we had it set. And the day came and I was so tired. Have y'all ever been so tired you feel like you're about to be sick because you're tired? I was so tired and I felt so bad.
No, friend.
Like, I mean, you were a total doll. You were so, and I think it ended up not being even a great day for you either.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it worked out.
But even it could be awkward because especially if you don't know each other in person, like you don't want to come off as one of those people who talk a big talk but don't follow, like always flake. Right. And I was just like, oh, please don't think that about me. And but I was just so grateful for your graciousness and your understanding.
Of course. No,
because it's hard out here.
It is hard out here, and it happens to everyone. And I just like the fact that we had built a rapport prior to that. Now, if it would have been something like, because I've had other people to, do the same thing, and I just kind of backed off and just like, one, I don't really know you like that. Two, you came to me, and then you set something up. And then you fell back on it. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to fall back on you now because I feel like you're wasting my time.
That's real. And I think maybe one thing that helped is that we're both fairly consistently putting out content and interacting with each other's content. So it's not like I said, I can't do it. And then I started hiding from you. Like I was still in your DMs or in your comment section. Like I'm still here. I still hope it can happen, but it's hard out here.
Yeah, well, just the reset, honey. But yeah, that the fact that we built a rapport and that we still were able to, maintain that friendship. So I mean, but most people, and a lot of that happened behind that viral video. It's just like people, oh, come on my podcast or And I'm like, I don't want to talk
over the Dubai stuff.
Yes.
They were trying. Oh, then you really would have been known for that.
That part. I was like, absolutely. And one girl I almost did. And like I said, she kept changing the times and stuff. And I'm like, girl, it's not that deep. That really wasn't what I wanted to be a talking point for me. Like it blew up. I made a couple more parts to it and I left it at that. But
it was educational for me. I didn't know about it.
It needs to be for a lot of people because it still gets traction right now to this day. Like,
is it pinned on your profile?
I know. No, absolutely not.
Okay, I was gonna say go look at it. It might be pinned, but never mind. Okay, let it die, guys. Just let it die.
Just let it die, please.
Go to her TikTok and no, go to her YouTube because we want her YouTube to get the watch hours and everything. So please go watch her shorts, especially the ones with the wigs.
We gotta find a name for her. I have not named the blonde wig.
Or then even you had, is it on YouTube? Did you upload the what is it? Yeah, it was the blonde wig, and you were just always like the job application series where you were like applying to different jobs. Was that it? You were like driving a spaceship.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I feel like, was that the series with a different job? I just know you always use like the same song and you were doing like the same kind of dance. But
I think it was the job ones, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I was so amused.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to think about, because I haven't been like intentional with like setting characters or like things like that. I was like, that's something I want to try to get into and like maybe create series and bring you guys along and have like, co-stars and co-characters and things like that. So but people like the blonde wig. I do notice that. That's like my, what do you call it? Like get out of jail card when I can't think of any other content to do.
Throw on the blonde wig.
Just throw the wig on.
I mean, because it's just so outlandish. One, the wig is outlandish, but whoever you become when you have that thing on, you are like a fool. It's so funny. It's just so funny to me. So that might be it. Because not only is the wig outlandish, but you really match the energy that the wig brings. So
it's a whole, what do you call it? Remember the movie The Mask? That's what it reminds me of.
I can see that. Oh yeah, you put it on and you are just somebody else. Does that character have a name?
Huh?
Does the character have a name?
That's what I said. I was like, I never solidified any character name. That's something I want to get into. I said I might go and just ask, TikTok, like, what should I name my different wigs, and let everybody come up, so people can feel like kind of involved in the creating process. So that might be, I need to write that down.
Yeah, write that down. Anything for engagement.
Girl.
That needs to be another title of a video. Anything for engagement, and just talk about the different types of videos we've tried.
No, because these girls are really doing anything for engagement. Let's talk about, I don't know, not now, beg talk, beggars.
And how we have almost crossed over a couple times.
How we almost crossed over, and just like the lack of shame, like the things that I've seen on Beg Talk is just outlandish and just bold.
You'll have to educate me. Like I've seen some, but I feel like I haven't seen a ton. You'll have to educate me.
You have people with kids that refuse to go get a job. Get mad and cuss when they don't get the there's a lady that got her, every month she go up there and get her rent paid. Every month she go up there and get her rent paid. You get that white man, something Nash. He used to be with David Dobrik. He's like a really big YouTuber, but he got canceled.
So what do they do? Are they going live?
Yeah, they're going live. And they go, so I'm gonna post it when I get off here. I did make, it's kind of lazy. I wanted to do like full, but I did make a TikTok kind of pertaining to it. And like he'll go live, he'll have this loud, it's just chaotic, loud music, flashing lights, and he's yelling at people to give him, like the different gifts, like this, I don't know what these crazy things are called, but like a Sailor Moon or a pumpkin patch, or I need 10 cheeseburgers and I need to, and he's yelling and hollering and screaming at these people, and these people are giving him money. You have people that take their disabled children. Like there's this boy, bless his heart, I'm pretty sure it's India. There's a deformity and his head is like, and you can tell they're exploiting him and nobody's.
That's sad.
So I'm just like, between like I said, that the people that refuse to get up and get jobs, you had the fake sob stories, I need my light bill paid, but mind you need your light bill paid every month. So I want to talk about the unfortunate necessity, because I do get it to an extent. I think a lot of us are to a point where the jobs aren't hiring, they're not paying, inflation is inflating.
I just learned about ghost jobs recently.
Girl, I been knew about that. Been knew. I could have been told you about
my emotions.
Been told. I learned the hard way early in COVID with Indeed. And I had to start taking, like, I would have to go to the point where I have to research the company before I would even apply. And then you have to research context clues for like email addresses, descriptions. You can tell a legitimate description compared to somebody just copied and pasted.
You should do a whole video on ghost jobs.
Let's write it down.
Ghost. I'm gonna put it in the notes.
All right.
Follow-up videos. Oh, Beg Talk and ghost jobs. Follow-up videos.
Yep.
Beg Talk is one, and
ghost posting. Mm-hmm.
Okay, ghost posting. Yes. Because I was, and when I learned about that, and I just learned about that like last week, I was like, let me just get on YouTube. Let me just, not for begging, guys, for making content, but like for making content.
Make it play.
Because now I'm wasting my time applying for jobs that aren't even real jobs. Why are you doing this to people?
Nope.
But let's see. Because I don't want to lose everybody. They're like, we didn't come here for this.
Sorry, y'all.
I know. Okay. To start wrapping it up.
Right.
Despite everything we talked about, the ugly underbelly, as of today, September 27th, 2024, why are you still in the content creating game, Maine?
I would say I'm still in the content creating game because of y'all. If it wasn't for my mutuals, if it wasn't for y'all checking on me and pushing me, I would have gladly deleted my TikTok and gone on to my introverted business and kept it moving. Like
that part.
It's really the people. I'm not, I make a couple dollars from TikTok shop here and there. The videos, these qualifying views. So this is a thing about.
Oh no, I'm gonna write it down. That's another topic. Qualifying views.
Whole nother topic. But that's how you get monetized on TikTok, and I'm not getting monetized on TikTok. Like I'm
over 20,000 followers, guys. 20,000 followers, and she's not making money.
Every video over a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about that next. But if it wasn't for y'all, if it wasn't the comments, if it wasn't the love, if it wasn't you guys is funny and informational, I get on. I love seeing y'all on my FYP. It makes me happy that you guys are progressing, that you guys are shedding your skin, that you're telling your stories. And I feel connected. Like this is my fam. Like, and I feel, an obligation to come on and check on y'all and see how y'all doing. And it motivates me to get up and push past the depression and push past the, okay, well, I'm not getting paid or I'm not doing anything yet, but there's still people that believe and support me. And it's really the people at this point. What about you, Miss Nikita?
I think it's two things. I think that's one major one for sure. The people, and kind of how you mentioned earlier, how ever different, I don't know what word I want to use, different it is. A lot of us are finding a lot more genuine connections online with each other. And just the connections that I've been able to make, even with the type of content that I make, about people coming out of narcissistic relationships, not just spouses, it was primarily parents, or like the cult space, religious trauma, rebuilding life. Now I'm starting to post more about my experience as a preschool teacher, which is a whole circus. It's definitely, it's like the epitome of, if you know, it is definitely a club to be in. And so people are relating to that, and because I'm not at one particular school right now, I can say a lot of things that other people can. That's another reason why I need YouTube to work, because I think I've just said too much online. I don't know if anybody would want to hire me, like maybe as a contractor, but I don't know.
Listen, I think people, like you said, they like the real, the authentic, and that is a very specific club that
I mean, people do. Does an organization, you know? So that's
but
why I'm
you
like, let me
know,
just do contract work. If people want me, they want me. If, you know, I don't want, and I kind of feel like that too. After I've got a taste of freedom and really expressing myself, especially coming out of a cult, especially coming away from a narcissistic parent, I'm like, I don't want to shut up anymore. I want to say more. I want to be louder. I want to be, then I see your content. And it's like, I want to be silly. I want to play dress up. Like I was a drama kid in middle school and a little bit.
Love it.
Like I want to do the things. So I like that it allows me to explore my artistic and creative side and be authentic. And then I also love, I just love the connections, and not to sound cliche, but in some ways I feel like it's bigger than me. Like often when I think about quitting, I get a DM or a comment that's like, I feel so seen. Thank you for saying that. This helped me. Or like somebody that I hadn't thought about in forever will message me and tell me about several huge decisions they made in their life for the good. And they were like, and it's because you inspired me. And I'm like, as I'm sitting here wondering, like, am I going to be able to pay whatever? Right. And I'm like, wow, okay. I don't know what this is, and I don't know where this is going, but let's see. So I think that's why those are the main reasons: the connections and the ability to have fun and be authentic.
I definitely concur with you on those both fronts. It's a journey. It really is, but it's an interesting one, and I guess we're gonna stick around for the ride. So
we are. If you had one piece of advice, I know we've been dropping nuggets this whole time, but if you had one piece of advice for someone getting into content creation, what would it be?
Don't be shy.
Ooh, that's a good
one.
Don't
be shy. And I still to this day, because there's a lot of skits, a lot of stuff I want to do, but I just feel like you said, you know, I'm still employed. And the last video I talked about, like, I think there's a lurker that's on my, so it's just one of those things, like, if I post these kind of videos, I may bring a different type of light to myself, or, attract a certain type of audience. And it's just like, sometimes success or greatness or whatever you want to call it is on the other side of comfortability.
And it's a privilege to be able to push that boundary. It's not always the right time.
So, don't be shy. Go for it. Go for it. You never know who will see you. You never know the opportunities that can come from it. You never know what baggage you can release. I feel it's refreshing to get on the app and say whatever I want, however I want. And people like it. What kind of advice would you have?
I think mine would be kind of how we said earlier, like to know who you are and what you want when you get into it. And of course it'll change, you'll figure it out, but to always be looking for what you want. So whatever platform you're on, use the platform. Don't let the platform use you. Mm-hmm. If you want to have fun and just say whatever you want, like Maine said, do that. If you want to just put information out for people to be able to get it, and whatever they do with that, that's them, then do that. If you want to make thirst traps and just feel pretty or handsome and get comments and compliments and maybe a sugar daddy, like but whatever it is, don't let the roller coaster of the algorithm yank you around and cause you to lose your mind. I've been there. I got burnt out trying to feed the machine and keep up. Like, oh, got to be consistent, got to be frequent, got to do this, got to do, because it's always shifting and it will never be enough. And people are fickle. Your audience is fickle. And it's like, you don't change because they followed you for this one thing, but then don't stay the same too long because, oh my God, you only ever talk about this one thing. When are you going to move? Like, it will drive you crazy. So
They are never satisfied.
Don't let the platform use you. That's all I got.
I love it. I love it. Definitely great words of advice.
Thank you. Do you have anything else, Maine, before we hop off?
No, it's been a roller coaster and it's been an honor. I want to say this is my very first live ever on YouTube. Ever.
Hey.
So now I know a little more. I gotta fix my, setup a little bit better, but I'm learning and I just appreciate you for taking a risk on me. We don't know each other from a can of paint, girl, so
we know each other a little more than that. At this point, I don't feel like it was a risk because we've been in each other's space for so long.
This is true, but you've grown and cultivated your channel on your own. So for you to bring me into it, I appreciate that because a lot of people, they'll gatekeep, or they'll dangle a carrot in your face, but you welcome me, you allow me to come in your space. And for that, I am honored and I'm grateful. And I'm very thankful to call you my friend.
Aw, thank you. I feel like I need to, another one to put in the comments. Not in the comments, in our notes is online friendships and cultivating them. Because I'm like, we could easily turn this into a compliment competition right now.
Girl.
Don't get me started. But the people, I don't think they want to see that. Not on this. Maybe we'll save it for the cultivating online friendship one. Because I'm not even about to do this with you, Maine.
Girl.
20,000 followers. You've been doing this long. Listen, I'm going to stop. But okay, guys. Follow Maine. If you're not subscribed to me, subscribe to me. Stay tuned. We will be making more of these videos about content creation. If you have any specific questions about content creation, it could be the emotional side. It could be lighting. It could be the products we use. It could be makeup. It could be, did you have any hurdles you need to over? Whatever you want, throw it at us. We're here to talk about it because we have 15 years combined between us of content creation.
Yes.
And so we're not here to gatekeep. But anyway, that's it. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all the stuff all the YouTubers say, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.